Alice lived in a quiet suburb of Chicago, a place where neighbors exchanged smiles and life felt predictable. At 72, she cherished her routines. Mornings with coffee on the porch, an afternoon stroll with Max, her loyal German shepherd, and evenings knitting by the fire. Her silver hair and kind eyes made her beloved in the community, but few knew her companion's true capabilities. Max wasn't just a dog, he was a retired police canine, trained to protect and defend. With his sharp gaze and imposing stance, he was Alice's constant guardian, though she rarely had reason to rely on his skills, until one fateful night. Unbeknownst to Alice, two strangers had been watching her. Diego and Javier, seasoned petty criminals, had scoped out the neighborhood and deemed Alice's home an easy target. "She's alone," Diego said with a smirk, peering from their car. "Just her and that dog. We'll take care of him first." Javier hesitated, glancing at Max, who stood tall beside Alice as she unlocked her front door. "That's no ordinary dog," he muttered. "We should pick another house." Diego shook his head. "Relax. It'll be over before she even knows what hit her." That evening, Alice went about her usual routine. She locked the doors, fed Max, and settled in with a book. But Max was restless. He paced the house, his ears twitching at every sound outside. "What's wrong, Max?" Alice asked, stroking his head. His low growl was her only answer. Hours passed, and Alice drifted to sleep, unaware of the danger creeping closer. Diego and Javier had parked a block away and now crept toward the house, tools in hand. The street was silent except for the occasional rustle of leaves in the autumn breeze. As they approached the door, Max's ears perked up. He rose from his spot near Alice's bed, his muscles taut, and let out a deep, guttural growl. The faint sound of metal scraping against the lock confirmed his suspicions. Alice woke to Max barking ferociously, the sound reverberating through the house. "What's going on?" she whispered, her heart pounding. She barely had time to react before the front door burst open, the lock giving way. "Stay quiet, lady," Diego barked, stepping inside with a crowbar in hand. Javier followed, a knife glinting in the moonlight. Alice froze in terror, but Max was already in action. With a ferocious snarl, he lunged at Diego, clamping his powerful jaws onto the man's arm. Diego screamed, dropping the crowbar as he struggled to shake the dog off. "Get him off me," Diego yelled, but Javier hesitated. His knife glinted, but the sight of Max's sheer ferocity gave him pause. Max turned his focus to Javier, who tried to strike. With incredible agility, Max dodged the blade and leaped, knocking the knife from his hand. Alice, fueled by adrenaline, grabbed a heavy vase from the shelf and swung it at Diego, hitting him square in the chest. "Get out of my house!" she screamed, her voice trembling but resolute. Realizing they were outmatched, the two criminals stumbled toward the door, bloodied and defeated. "This isn't over," Diego snarled before they disappeared into the night. Alice called the police, her hands shaking as she recounted the ordeal. Officers arrived within minutes, finding a shaken but unharmed Alice and a vigilant Max, who stood guard by the door. "This dog is a hero," Officer Ramirez said, kneeling to pet Max. "He saved your life tonight." The next day, news of Max's bravery spread through the neighborhood. The police chief even organized a small ceremony, presenting Max with a medal for his courage. Neighbors gathered to celebrate, bringing treats and flowers for Alice and her heroic dog. That evening, as Alice sat on her porch with Max by her side, she stroked his fur and whispered, "You're my guardian angel, Max." Max rested his head on her lap, his eyes soft yet alert, ready for whatever challenge might come next. Together, they proved that true heroes come in all shapes and sizes, and sometimes they have 4 legs and a wagging tail.